from 2020, this year onwards, the Odisha has made a paradigm shift of moving from centralized solid waste management system to decentralized community-centric solid waste management system. This model is a finalist in the Prime Minister's Award for Public Administration for innovative practices. And this is the model. This one slide would give the complete, will provide the complete understanding of how this model works. On the top, you will find the household. And we have Swachhasathis, members from the women's self-help group, acting as the sanitation assistants. Swachhasathi means sanitation assistant. So they work at the household level, and they will induce behavioral changes in the household so that the household is able to provide segregated waste to the waste collector, dry waste and wet waste. Then the municipal vehicle, two-chamber vehicle, collects the dry waste and wet waste, transported to the wealth center. We have created wealth center under the decentralized model. For every 7,000 household, we created this wealth center. One wealth center consists of one micro composting center for the wet waste, one material recovery facility for the dry waste. Both are co-located in one location, and we call that as a wealth center. For every 30,000 population, that means about 7,000 households, we created this. Whether it is a small urban local body or it's a Bhubaneswar state capital, the same model has been scaled up, replicated in all urban local bodies. And in the micro composting center, the wet waste is shredded and then composted, and that becomes the organic manure, which is sold in the market. And in the material recovery facility, the dry waste is segregated to saleable dry waste and non-saleable. The plastic, glass, and other saleable, recyclable things are segregated and sold to the recycling agencies. And non-recyclable, which cannot be sold, which do not have a market value, they are packed and then they are consigned to the cement factories and power plants for using as the co-fuel along with the coal. So that is how we dispose of both wet as well as the dry. In all this entire process, women self-help groups and rag pickers are involved. We have the Swachhasathis as the volunteers to bring about the behavioral changes and for collecting the user fee from the household. We have the battery operated vehicle for the transporting, and the battery operated vehicle has again women self-help group or transgender for driving it and collecting the waste. In the wealth center also, we have only women's self-help groups or transgender groups. Nobody is allowed actually. This is actually exclusively managed by the vulnerable groups. Male are actually almost banned from these activities. And the organic manure sale outlet also is managed by the women self-help group, the entire value chain. And whatever profit we get, so it's actually operated as a center of profit center, and whatever revenue and the profit they generate, and it is given back to the sanitation workers and other vulnerable groups as incentives and wages. This is the model. This is the decentralized community-centric model. And the Swachhasathis, who are the women self-help group or the transgender groups, they act as a change agent to bring about behavioral changes at the household level. They are our drivers to drive the battery operated vehicle, and they manage the decentralized compost, the micro composting center, and the material recovery facilities. And we have about 2,500 Swachhasathis throughout the state, about 600 supervisors to supervise them, again from the self-help group federations. And there are about 11,600 women self-help groups who would be engaged in this micro composting center and material recovery facilities to manage the entire value chain. And these are the, and about 11,000, as I said, 11,600 self-help groups would be managing. And this would annually generate about 42.5 lakh women days of employment in a year. This is the rough calculation. And that would amount to about 145 crore of wages and incentives paid to the vulnerable groups annually. These photographs are the inauguration of the micro composting center On the right, on the left hand side, if you see left corner, left top, on the right hand side is the collector who is holding the ribbon, and the person who is cutting the ribbon is the women self-help group member. So that's the kind of recognition we have given to the women self-help group, that collector enables the self-help group to inaugurate it. Collector doesn't inaugurate. Otherwise, generally, traditionally, the collectors inaugurate. Here, the collectors make the self-help group to inaugurate. That is the kind of sign of empowerment, the culture of respecting the women self-help group, transgender groups. So we have brought about in the urban local bodies. This is the organic manure that has come out of the micro composting centers. You can see the women working in the micro composting center.